Hello everybody, welcome back to the Mario Kart Boards channel. Today we've got a pretty special cast. It is the CTL Division 3 Finals between Maximum and Infinite. I am joined by Saturn once again. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello everybody, my name is Saturn, and I'm very excited to cast this CTG3 Finals with you.
I'm glad to hear that, and glad to be here as well. Yeah, I'm excited to watch this. This is going to be quite a long one, I think. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lineups. We can pull those up. Maximum's lineup first. We've got Jose, Jack, Precision, Vesfef, and Money's Bagging. Now, I haven't watched a lot of D3, but I do play with these guys quite a bit. I know how most of them play. I think this is a pretty strong lineup. Vesfef has been their top scorer throughout the season, and the lineups have shifted all around throughout the season, but I would say that these are the players with like the best, I feel like they're the best on the team. They can pretty much pull out all the wins they can. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the match we saw, like, in the previous semifinal, PRS versus MI, I think that's where they really proved themselves to be not only capable, but very much overachieving in that sense, to be, really the top of D3, and I think even very poised to reach that D2 level very soon, hopefully. We'll see at the end of this match if they really are worthy of D2, but, pretty much the main lineup, right? This is very standard stuff for MI. We got Jose, we got Jack, Precision, Vesfef, Moniz. Moniz, as I was talking about, also the last semifinal, very good bagger. We saw him being evenly matched against ELP last semifinal, and also taking the edge in some of the situations. So, very strong anchor in the form of Moniz on the batting side of things, and also the running power here is just undisputably very strong, very consistent. Got Vesfef, you got Jack, two of the more consistent forces in this team, but also some very nice supporting runners, I would say, in the form of Precision and Jose. Jose, not really a flashy player, not always top of the scoreboard, but very solid in this division, and I feel like he's cemented his place. I mean, 26-point average. It's not the best, but he has 60% win rate, which is also really good considering some of these teams he's stacked up against. So, just a very good team overall.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, these guys have been getting a lot better over the past few months as they've been playing through D3. Precision especially, I feel like, has gotten a lot better over the past half a year, 1 year, something like that. He's really been improving, and I think this match will come to show that.
Oh, for sure. Precision, I feel like one of the more overlooked players. Definitely not at this point, he's not underrated because I feel like everyone knows where he is at this point as a player. Definitely cemented as at least D3 level, pushing towards that D2, having that ambition, having that drive to really elevate his gameplay to the next level. So I don't think he's underrated, but I feel like this has sort of been the proving grounds for him. This season has been just, putting his skill on display and just showing everyone how capable he is as a runner. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this squad. Just very solid overall.
Yeah, I think no matter what, both of these teams will end up being in Division 2, if not one of them. But yeah, let's go over to Infinite's lineup before we start. So for Infinite, we have Alpha, Barry, Dermo, LT, and Callum bagging. This might be surprising because 3 of these players, Barry, LT, and Callum, have played 0 regular season matches. None. They have been using a completely different core the whole season, but now IF is breaking out these people for their finals match. What do you think?
Man, they've really just pulled out, the secret weapons, the heavy artillery, so to speak. I talked to Dermo a bit before this match, and I feel like, this is one of those situations where you show up to the battlefield and you pull out Pokemon that you've never really shown off before, and they're all just level to the max. You know what I'm saying? You just throw the Pokeball out there and they suddenly pop out all ready to jump at you. So yeah, Barry, LT, very good R tier level runners. Definitely, I would say definitely worthy of D3 even on regs. And I don't know how good they are on CTs. I hear LT and Barry have been practicing all season, and I'm pretty sure Callum's a really good bagger, really consistent bagger. I don't have much intel on these players, but when it comes to Alpha and Dermo, I have way more intel of those players, and I can tell you, they don't disappoint. They always come with a strong, consistent performance, especially Alpha being, I think, the third top scorer with the whopping average of, 36.6. That's almost 37. That means he's broken. Yeah. That's
wow.
like scoring an average of like 114 every war or something crazy like that. I mean, Alpha's just, he's gonna have to do the heavy lifting up front in most of these races, but I feel like Dermo and LT can definitely support him up front. And Barry, I don't know, but I'm very, very willing to be pleasantly surprised by their gameplay today.
Yeah, and of course, Infinite managed to make D3 finals last season and ended up losing to Rogue, who actually went on to win Division 2 against my own team, much to my own dismay. But let's see if Infinite can run it back. They made it all the way back. So let's see if they can pull this win off.
Yeah, and I have to say, Rogue definitely cementing themselves as very ahead of D3. I'm not sure if D3 was the right place for them last season, but, them winning D2 this season has really shown how fast and how much they've improved in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and IF even back then was able to keep it really close. So I could see IF winning this, but overall, who do you got? I'll say mine after.
Well, we talked about this a bit before the cast, and realistically, it's gonna look probably like a 2-1 for MI. I do believe this will be close, but realistically, most people would have MI penciled in for the win here. However, I like to remain optimistic, and I'll give this to IF. Actually, I'll give it 2-1 for IF, and my MVP will be either Alpha or Vesfef.
All right, fair. Personally, I think it'll be 2-1 for MI. I feel like MI, they've been playing together with like all sorts of different players, including these guys. But IF, it's going to be very uncomfortable at first for them because these players are so different and they didn't really play all season. So it'll be hard for them to adjust to a finals like mentality. But MI, they're already there, so I think MI's like mental game will get them further in the long run.
Oh, potentially, yeah. However, I wanted to point out something about these lineups. Actually, is that they've been playing all season with Snow, Serena, and Alec, and I feel like these players, even though they're not getting the spotlight in this match in particular, they deserve to be mentioned because I feel like Serena is a very mechanically capable player, and I feel like they would have been able to elevate this lineup a little bit further, a little bit higher in terms of raw driving power. And I feel like Alec is just a very, well-rounded player in general. I mean, this guy, he has very good understanding of how the game is played at a fundamental level. He understands like item theory and what to do for the team. And I'm not sure how good his CT knowledge is, but I mean, if he's been playing all season, you gotta at least surmise that he's been grinding some of these tracks and he's gotten the layouts down. So I would have loved to see one of these players at least be in this final lineup, but they really went all guns blazing out, just came in here and said, okay, we're gonna put two of these guys on display and give you a very great finals show. So I can't complain, really.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe potentially one of them might sub in later if they find themselves struggling, might as well just change it up. We'll see.
I actually want to talk about something interesting. This match almost didn't happen at this time. There were some scheduling conflicts because Barry is Australian and he probably wouldn't have made it, I feel like, because it's very late in Australia right now. It's like 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. or something, so gotta respect Barry for putting up the grind, sticking to his team even though Mom is probably gonna turn off the Ethernet or something.
Yeah.
Our last player joining the room, that's IF Callum, the IF Bagger, and I'm very excited to see how this match is gonna shape up. I feel like it's gonna be very much a matchup between Moniz, who has a lot of experience, and Callum, who has a lot of knowledge. I feel like a lot of team chemistry on how to bag, because Callum also bags in IF too, and I feel like he bags most of the time for them. I'm not sure if that's correct, but he's been bagging with IF for a long time, probably a year or two, I believe. So, that's where I think the match is going to be heading. personally.
Yeah, I think the chemistry between baggers this match will definitely come into play, because the shock, obviously a very important tool, but I think on CTs it really shines through. If your team gets more shocks, then you're just more likely to win on CTs. That's just how it is.
That's very true, and I feel like we saw that in last week's match as well, where PRS didn't really know where. I mean, they were getting shocks, but they weren't really using them properly, and that really, that really was the main separating factor between those two teams. It's just like the experience required to call a good shock is just really detrimental on CTs, where there's a lot of TS spots and a lot of more tactical places to use shocks, I feel like. So, yeah.
Exactly. So, we're finally starting out here. So, for POVs, we have, I believe, 2 from IF, but the bagger POV will be coming from MI. So, we can just, check in on bagger POV every once in a while to see what's going on, so that'll be nice to have over the course of the match.
We came prepared for you guys. We got all the greatest, view angles, all the craziest angles, We just want to give you a good show, and I feel like that's gonna happen when IF just goes for ASDF Corshina.
Yeah, friendly reminder that playoffs are an all-tracks format, excluding the banned tracks. And ASDEF course is their first pick. We'll see where this heads. Not really something I expected to see, because ASDEF course is like one giant meme. But
yeah, ASD, of course, not the most competitive track, not the most complex track. However, definitely very spectator friendly, very entertaining, I feel like. And I'm gonna have personally a blast commentating it. But it actually looks like we're gonna be playing ASDF course race 1. Let's go!
Sweet. Okay. Starting off strong. Why don't you
tell me a bit about how this track plays from your experience?
From my experience, it's really hard, because races are always just different. Like, there's no structure to these races whatsoever. It's really hard to win. Shock, big help as always, but shocks can be very unpredictable, even in team matches like this.
Yeah, and this is one of those tracks where you can't really go fully backwards because of this ramp sloping up, so... Oh, actually, never mind. You can go fully backwards. I've never really bagged this track before. So yeah, this is a fully backwards track. This shouldn't be too much of a hassle for the baggers. So yeah, probably going to be seeing a shock here. However, I want to talk to you briefly about this Mega in 4th. This is a really good pull for Barry, because if they do get shock, it's very likely that he's going to be sitting in a really good position for the rest of the race, because this track, it's not really all that common to catch up massively after a certain amount of time, and it looks like Monty's actually has shock here, so Barry's going to be forced to use his Mega and try to schlag some of these MI players up front, so they lose some of this top presence here, and maybe get his teammates up front as well. Precision trailing a green, just trying to keep Barry grounded. However, Barry trims past him, and now he's actually pulled triple greens, and he's going to try and back.
That was very well done. Yeah, very nice job by IF to take command of the top spots so fast, and yeah,
that was a sick snipe, instant replay. Just Monty's getting sniped by Barry, and it looks like Alpha's actually getting blued as this top 3. And I feel like at this point, Callum might try to just drop a star for one of the runners, as we are going into the last lap here, and time is running out for MI, so they're going to have to call the shock soon.
Yeah, they have to do it right now, but they've been in a position to pull dodges for over a lap and a half, so let's see if they break one out here. They are really far behind.
Time is nigh. It's counting down, is that yeah, that's Jack and a star in the rear view, or Jose, I believe. Although I believe it might be called too late, because IF is still top 2 going into the last turn, and they're gonna be crossing safely. That was unexpected, to say the least.
It looks like top 3 still, actually. Yeah, they pulled all the dodges they needed too little too late. They weren't.
Yeah, I don't think a single IF member finished in bottom 3 there. I think that was a really good race for IF. Wow.
Yeah, you saw Dermo able to hold down 3rd at the very end there, and you gotta wonder where the dodges went. Were they just not able to be pulled? Were they being held by mid-spot IF players? Where were they? They were holding shock for 3 laps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure IF was in control of at least 1 or 2 of the dodges, and that really thwarted the plans of MI, who just couldn't pull the right items to catch back up. And also, that just really goes to show that there's multiple ways in which you can win a race, right? Because, we saw Alpha getting up there early and just contending for that first place spot. And even though he did get blued, the running actually paid off because oh, we have a DC here. Looks like a room reset or something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, as I was saying, there's multiple races. There's multiple ways to win that race because, like, you know, we saw Barry chaining for triple greens and actually doing something with those triple greens to halt the progress of MI getting into those top spots. So that's just another case where schlagging is equally as effective as dodging because, you know, when you're waiting 5 laps to pull a dodge, you're not always going to get that dodge, and you're just stuck in a place where you're just waiting for the right time, I guess.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, I feel like they were just too caught up in the timing, trying to get the shock perfect, but they didn't really succeed, and that really killed them.
Yeah, like, I feel like taking control of top spots there was a good decision, because maybe they knew that MI already had the shock, so they had to do something to try to negate the potential damage of the shock, so they just decided, hey, let's just, like, force ourselves into top 3 and stay there. Because there's no shortcuts in that course. Like, you can't catch up unless you, like, just pull a bunch of shrooms. That's the only real way. And dodging.
That's why I said that it's not the most competitive track, because, like, the layout of the track makes it so that it's basically just driving pretty much in an enclosed environment where the only way to catch up is to hit other people or dodge the shock. So, you know, when you take one of those variables out of the equation, it becomes really, really hard to do anything to come back. So, yeah, I guess a tactical pick for IF. I mean, they picked it and it worked for them really well. They're up 20, what is that, 23? Race 1?
Yeah, top 3-6 that they got there.
That is insane.
Yeah, and I like that they picked a track that just, like, limits the other team's options like that. We'll see if IF decide to pick more tracks like that. Yeah, like, reg skill can translate well to CTs. All you really need is track knowledge. Like, we see that with a lot of CT players that have just kind of gotten really good really quickly.
Oh, true. Maybe that's what they were doing all season. Maybe they were just taking CTs.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what do you think is the best CT to time trial that develops your tech skill, like, really quickly? Because, you know, a lot of these CTs, they have tech that we don't really see on RTs that much. So, what do you think?
Best recent example is probably Desert Fort. I feel like that track really just you can really hone your skills there. You can, like, practice different kinds of tricks. You can practice TF inputs. You can, you know, practice all sorts of different kinds of shortcuts. That's a really good example.
Honestly, I would say I would recommend, like, an older track to play. For example, Glimmer. Even though I'm not a big fan of Glimmer, I can recognize how technically demanding it is and how technically impressive it is for someone to drive it, because I certainly can't. And, you know, it shows. If you're not able to adapt to very techy tracks like that, you're not going to keep up with the best of the best, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Exactly. Let's see what MI picks. I feel like they're going to pick New Moon Manor right off the gate, you know. Just hope that IF doesn't really have that technical skill that MI has.
That an MI track pick, New Moon Manor?
Well, Vestfef has... Oh!
Okay.
Giving me anxiety. I was like, oh no, is he actually going to do it? Alright, looks like he snapped out of autopilot and he's back on track. Alright, well, Vestfef actually has a BKT on New Moon Manor, so it might be worth it for them to try picking as a running, you know?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not sure if it's beneficial for the whole team to do that.
Yeah, New Moon Manor, I can see them picking it here. But, you know, 217 tracks left, you never know.
Oh, true.
Vestfef also not starting in first, so might be hard for him to get up there real quick. We'll see what they decide.
Third place, arguably the worst of the 3 starting positions in most tracks. You know, some tracks is beneficial, but in most tracks, you're not really want to be starting in third.
Yeah. IF breaking out Twin Peaks while MI continues to pick DK Ruins, which is what they picked the first time.
Yeah, DK Ruins is a very comfortable running track, I would say. And also, Dormo likes that track quite a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if I can keep it close on DK Ruins.
Yep, and Twin Peaks being a sort of a shortcut track at this point. Like, there's that one giant shortcut, laps 1 and 2, that can determine a lot. And we do get Twin Peaks, so let's see what happens here. IF starting in even spots, so they'll get the better items overall, and that possibly means shrooms. So if they're able to hold them for long enough, they can just get into the front that way instead.
Yeah, this track is an interesting dynamic where, as you said, there's a lot of shortcuts, especially in the latter half of the track, and also this
and the train
here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of them got hit by that, which is good. I mean, avoiding that train might, it takes a bit of game awareness that not everyone has. At least we see that we're, in D3, all players have good awareness, and actually looks like one of the players pulling a TC early on, trying to pass it to MI, and I'm not sure what's going on here. Is this a sitting track? You're gonna have to tell me, CC.
It's not a sitting track. They were just kind of waiting to go backwards because there's a box set like right there, and they didn't want to pull the bullet, but Monies ended up pulling it anyway. Thankfully, it's easy to lose it here because of the cows. So Barry holding the star in 6, he could use this right away and just get up to first. Like, if IF ended up pulling the shock super early, no. He's actually choosing to hold it, so is it possible that he might have it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Barry's doing with the star in the back. I mean, even if he dodges the shock, it's not going to be that effective for him if he just is this far back, So I feel like he definitely should have used it there and maybe to just get up front and just cement himself in the pack. But yeah, it looks like Monty's pulling a bill again.
Yeah, having a bit of trouble there. Like, either it's bad luck or IF already has a shock, but still holding this star. Not chaining it anywhere else.
Yeah, this is just this is a very peculiar situation. It looks like Alpha's in first by a decent amount, so that's good for IF here. But they're occupying these positions. I feel like this is currently bottom 3 for IF.
Yeah, well, no matter what happens, we'll see Barry chaining this star. Still no shock for MI, but it just kind of looks like they're both still going backwards, actually.
I feel like at this point, Callum might have it. Oh,
Monty's actually
it looks like Monty's pulling it at 2 minutes 10 seconds. Not a very not very unusual time to pull the shock, but it looks like finally these top spots are breaking down.
Oh wait, he ended up losing it. He just lost it.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Yeah, Callum started him.
Top 2 right now. Barry breaking away from the pack by Golding. This is really good for them if there's no blue shell or anything like that.
Yeah, very nice job to avoid those triple greens, like getting out of the range of any snipes. So IF can just kind of hold this top 2 unless there's like a blue shell or a late shock. Yeah, this is looking really good. The shortcut is blocked. You're in top 2. You just have to kind of avoid these cows and...
Yeah, I feel like shock is the win condition for MI at this point because, look at the mini-map. There's no way Alpha's getting anything other than first, and Barry, he has a decent lead on third. I mean, he could still lose it, but it's going to be very interesting to see if that actually happens. So, Barry putting down some traps.
Not playing a little risky with that banana.
Yeah, throwing it away preemptively, but, it looks like smooth sailing, just IF going to finish on top 2. Very good race. Alpha being the rock that he needs to be, staying in first that whole time, and just keeping his team above the water.
There's a little bit of spinning going on at the very end there, like in between the house and the cliff. Like, spots could have just traded hands so fast there, and we might not have been able to see it unless you just memorize the Mii's on the minimap.
True. Yeah, I feel like a lot of, you know that board game Guess Who? Have you ever played that?
Oh yeah, as a kid, plenty of times.
Yeah.
That was what the minimap was.
Like whenever I'm casting CTs, ooh,
okay,
interesting. However, it's not the worst for IF because they did get top 2, so it evens out. Pretty. I would say this is like a winning race by 3 or 5 for IF, right? Personally, I would. Whenever I'm casting CTs, I always feel like it's a game of Guess Who, where I'm trying to just remember which face, what name it has, and stuff like that. So, if you guys have ever played Guess Who, I hope you can relate to me.
Yeah, so apparently Monies did pull the shock, and then it got starred out of him by Callum. So that's what happened there. It wasn't lost to a cow or anything, it was a star. So good job by Callum to prevent the shock.
It was LT. Sorry, it was actually LT. Sorry for the confusion there, because I was switching between POVs. I did say it was Callum at first, but yeah, LT just kind of recognizing that threat and starring money is kind of slowing down a little bit. So yeah,
I gotcha.
My bad on that one.
For the additional context, no, it's fine. You know.
Here, actually.
Oh, that was very unfortunate. That was a really nice play, a good idea, but shut down by the Vestef right there.
Yep. So am I able to take that race? Oh, it looks like one of IF actually dying on the line, so the race was actually worse than it looked at first.
It was looking really good with the 3-4-5 for IF at the very end there, but you know, IF Giaz getting back green on the line is going to set them back a little bit, which I believe is LT. LT getting back green on the line there, you know, kind of hurt them a bit, because 3-4-5 would have been really nice for the point deficit.
Yeah, so I believe that's MI's first winning race, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, top 2, 5-7, and 9th.
Yep, definitely not too shabby for MI. Really good, and now they're just going to want to pick a running track. So looks like Precision and Vestef got top 2. They're going to want to pick something that caters to them. You know, that's going to suit their strong side.
Yep, that's the goal of, like, you know, you gotta choose what's best for your own, like, players. Like, some players are specialized in some tracks over others, and like you kind of have to play around that. Like,
yeah. However, you know, if you're MI and you've been playing for a good while now and you have a lot of experience, you know, it's hard to imagine that these players have a limited range. I mean, they could run pretty much any track. So this has just really come down to personal preference. It looks like they're going to pick DMS. They're thinking about it on the side of IF. However, I'm not. The call is still coming in. It could be anything.
Taking a while. I see. Okay.
A very uncharacteristic pick. I don't think I've seen this in too many competitive matches.
Yeah, Cheap Cheap Peach, not exactly a popular pick, but Mansion of Madness definitely is, and that's what we're going to play.
Yeah, and I feel like they're just completely opposite ends of the same spectrum. You know, Cheap Cheap Beach being more of a bagging-oriented track, very track with lots of catch-up potential, and then Mansion of Madness, which is notorious for being janky and also very, very runnable. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that MI is picking a lot of, like, meta, like, lounge sort of picks, whereas IF is just breaking out anything that they can that thinks might work, and both of their picks, I believe, have worked so far. So we'll see how they do on Mansion of Madness. Is MI able to keep top 2 immediately? Oh, a little bit of a weird snipe, like, bump sort of thing there. Not really getting much off of that.
Oh, and Barry just driving into the spikes, not really being familiar with this track, it seems. And IF early 5-6-7. However, Barry pulling a start, which is really good because this is actually a sitting track, and I want to say that this benefits Callum a little bit because, you know, so far we've seen Monies beat him most of the time. I feel like he's been in 10th most of these races. So this is pretty. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is going to be beneficial for IF here. You know, the sitting track being in play. IF actually breaking into these stop spots a little. I'm not sure what happened to MI, but they've seemed to seem to have lost some of the front presence, and now Barry having a star in 4th. 2-3-4 for IF, which is really good, but MI is right here. I mean, they're breathing hot and heavy on the necks of IF right now. Who are a little bit of,
yeah, a little bit of weird bounces from Barry there, able to get MI into another mid spot there.
He doesn't seem too comfortable with this track at all. However, interesting bagging chase. It looks like he has the truck, and Monies is just going to try and start out of him here.
Yeah, and they're just kind of going around in a circle as, IF definitely has it.
They're playing Ring Around the Rosie in the clown's head. and it looks like they're still going on. What is?
All right. Some things change, some things stay the same.
Why doesn't Callum just go forward?
I don't understand. Oh, he fell off.
Oh no!
What is
What's
happening?
going on?
IF in bottom 2 now, but this star will be able to catch them back up at any time.
At this point, IF being bottom 2, not very good on this track, but it's pretty much all boost panels. So they're gonna have a really hard time catching up without Shock. Barry just floundering.
Bullet pattern kind of getting the best of him there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What happened to Vesfef though? He just lost first, and now IF seems to be top 3 at the moment. Just shifted the race instantly.
I feel like they're top 2 because if you look at the minimap, Alpha is still in the back there. Yeah. So Alpha just down for the count. Gonna take the hit. Gonna get 8th. But yeah, hopefully IF has been able to salvage at least 1-3 because we're not seeing them, which indicates that they were able to get good spots for the race.
Possible late shock here, and he was probably just waiting to use it there to get as much speed as possible. No shock.
Yeah, and I mean if this is 1-3-6-8 for IF, that's actually a very even race. That's a really good race for them. Would have been ideal if they were able to keep 2, 3, 4, 5, but unfortunately we missed some of the action up front because the bagger situation was just so funny.
Thermo actually able to squeeze out second there, so top 2, 6, 8, 10 for them there.
Really good for them, yeah.
On MI's track pick, that was really good. Like, Mansion of Madness is like,
I
need a winning race there.
immediately answered back on a tough track, Barry, even though he wasn't very familiar with the track, was able to stay up there for a time and just keep his team in it, So, IF is definitely looking stronger than I initially expected, for sure. They're able to contend with MI on some of these tracks. Well, I'm very interested to see what IF picks. Hopefully, it's going to be some form of easy running track. Ideally, they want to pick, I don't know, a retro running track. It looks like they're actually going to do that in the form of Airship Fortress.
Oh, now track picks are just all over the place. Maybe miscommunication, maybe they don't really care.
I feel like the best case scenario for them here is definitely Airship Fortress.
I don't want to interrupt, but Infinite called to reset that race.
Ooh.
Oh, another disconnect.
Yeah.
Well, looks like Monty is going to be taking over first place here. He's so far gone from the pack. He's I don't know how he's able to do this. He's just so good. He's been able to break away from the pack. He's going to hopefully he takes the big cut if he makes it in time. Because he only has 30 seconds left until the room disconnects. Actually, maybe less than that.
And he's off.
However, still a big lead over second place, which I believe is Jose. Top 2, very, very, very nice. Modest, slight lead.
Nice follower alert.
Marco Vicosa, thank you for following. You're watching
Marco.
CTL D3 finals. Maximum versus Infinite. Very, very good match so far. Very even. I feel like IF has been doing better in general in the running department. However, MI has been right up there with them,
Yeah, and fortunately that reset made it so that the GPs are nice and even now. So there's no more have to play one more race after the last one's over.
Ooh,
just
I
nice
actually
and even
didn't know
now.
about that. You could jump back on the ramp. It's pretty interesting. Is that a bagger strat?
Not really sure. I'm not really familiar with bagging. And there goes the room.
There goes. Damn, I'm really surprised because Color Wonderland I think actually would have worked well pretty well for IF because it's another sitting track. You sit at the first set, and also DS Airship. We didn't touch on this before the race started, but it's also a sitting track. So potentially they might want to go for more sitting tracks in case it's challenging for Callum to keep up with Monty's, and they have a whole host of them just sitting there, and DS Airship, Fortress, and Color Wonderland, just 2 examples.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know the stats on this, but I feel like a majority, or at least around half of the tracks in the game are sitting. It kind of feels that way because that's how most races play out. Yeah, 18-point difference right now. IF starting out pretty good, but we'll see if they can extend their lead here. Let's see what track they decide to pick.
So yeah, I would hope that they pick a sitting track. And actually, it looks like we're going to be picking Pete Sorka to kind of...
Yeah, that's definitely not a sitting track. That is a very luck-dependent, very simple course.
Yeah, very much a generic circuit track, which I think is what MI want. Not quite sure.
Oh, MI wants DK Ruins. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know what they're aiming for here. Maybe just like a reset track or something. DK Ruins, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were clinging onto this for 4 races, and they finally got their wish. They finally got their chance to prove themselves and run away with the lead a bit. Yeah, this is pretty beneficial for First because First has the tightest line, so they can just easily, stay in first and potentially go from there.
Ooh, they're getting wheelie bumped immediately. Dropping back to 9th there, it looks like, yeah. It looks like one of the runners wanted to go for the bullet there, but failed. There's no bill in play quite yet. Yeah, it looks like that was happening, because this seems like another sitting track, right? Pretty sure it is.
It's a sitting track, yeah. And,
yeah. Good job,
actually,
Barry, holding a star up to 5th place, like immediately able to take advantage of a surprise shock.
Yeah, and it looks like IF is in top 2 right now. That's Dermo and Alpha, and Barry close behind in 5th with the star. The only missing member in this IF lineup up front is LT, who's in 7th. Or, I believe, last right there? Not quite sure, but, yeah.
Breaking into 4th there, I think MI missed the ramp, and now he's holding the star in 4th. This is a really good position for them.
True. I feel like MI being in these mid spots is actually kind of a secret weapon for them because right here they could pull triple reds, they could pull a blue, they could pull a bomb, they could pull pretty much anything. And if they also pull triple shrooms here and take the cut, I mean, the top presence is going to be looking very compact compared to before. And actually looks like Vesfev did shroom up there. And Monty's actually has the bill, so that's going to make things very interesting in the wagon department. Looks like Callum is trying to push him off. Maybe indicating that Callum has shock. He's going forward. I'm not sure why though. Like what purpose? Oh, it looks like look at Callum's just taking a box. So I'm not sure either bagger has yet. Jack trying for so long to pass that TC, and he actually did it.
And he ends up starring his own bagger, so no shock even if he had it. That was interesting.
I feel like that might have been a tactical play because Callum definitely must have seen him coming, and I feel like he slightly realigned there so he could hit Barry. Not quite sure, but anyways, Barry taking the cut, even though it's a bit scuffed, I think he should be able to pass one MI member here. I was worried that was going to be a target power. He actually managed to stay on the track. Vesfev narrowly avoiding the back green from Dermo.
Oh, but he's being pressured by greens behind him as well.
Yep,
this is a very thin ramp, able to get a nana for protection, but we'll see what this green decides to do.
If he holds his ground here, this is going to be huge. 1-3 for IF again would be really good for them, just salvaging the situation. However, it looks like...
Oh, Jose ended up pulling a last-minute shroom to beat him for MI's 2-3 race.
Man, I think that was a draft, actually, because, he was driving, like, right next to him, right behind him. I wasn't able to tell if that was a shroom or a draft, but either way, that was a photo finish.
If it was a draft, it was a very dangerous one because of the threat of that banana. You're able to trap that thin spot, and it would have been that plane would have been ruined. But good job on Jose for breaking third there.
And you would also be drafting an Australian, so that'd be kind of risky. But yeah, 1-4-5-7 for IF, so pretty good once again. Just another winning race by a very small margin, but a very good margin. I feel like that's what IF want. IF just want to consistently win races to a point where their lead stacks and MI is no longer able to come back. Because if they win paces at this race, it's going to get really hard for MI around race 9-10 when IF is going to be up like 50 and MI is just going to start scrambling. So it's looking really good for IF right now. However, MI is not out of the picture just yet.
Yeah, winning tracks on the other team's track picks is something that can really put a dent in your mentality because you're just like, oh, what do we pick next? We have to find something to try and like negate that last race, What does IF want to do now? DS Bowser's Castle, going for these retro tracks once again. Maybe some Retro League experience shining through here for IF.
Yeah, and I feel like generally people are more familiar with these layouts from just playing the previous games because DS Bowser Castle, pretty tricky track, but it's not something that you're going to be completely unfamiliar with. It's an official Mario Kart entry. It's an official Mario Kart track, so.
Yeah, but in terms of
somewhat familiar with these at least.
Yeah, but in terms of playing this in Mario Kart Wii, there are a lot of things to consider. The log and like the spinning room. It's all just very weird. Barry getting a nice draft into first right away. Alpha and him are now top 2. Very good position to start because now you basically have control of the spinning room. Oh, avoids the green.
Yeah,
avoids
this
both
section is like really hard to maneuver if you're getting pincered, and if the other team is like top 2 and backing stuff at you. So really good for IF to be in control of the race this early on. Going into the spinning log here, IF's still top 2. It looks like one of MI is broken away in 8th. Which I'm not sure what that means, but it's not good.
It does. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe some like double bagging shenanigans going on here, but holding down top 2 here, really good. And 4th, so
looks like 5th as well. Top 2, 4, 5 for IF here.
But we will see if the shock has anything to say about that, because the shock is very deadly here because of that spinning log. You can turn a race around so fast.
Got backed, or one member of IF and one member of MI. Either way, Jack was able to trim up into 3rd, it looks like, and now he's able to bring front presence to MI this race. At least a little bit, if top 2 is this far gone, you want to be at least 3rd and minimize the point differential for the race.
Yeah, it looks like that other spot actually got lost, so MI is now occupying 3-4. Ooh. Bagging battle looking very interesting. No shock in play yet, it seems.
Yep, it looks like both of the baggers have chosen to sit at the set here, even though we can go further back than this. It's generally easier to pull the shock if you just stay at the set, if you don't know how to bag. And looks like, I don't know. Do these baggers know the strats? I'm not quite sure.
It doesn't really seem like they do, if there are any. Again, I'm not too familiar. I mean, I am friends with a few baggers, but I don't really try to like learn these sorts of strats. But I feel like there would be some strats here if there were.
Anyways, I have still top 2, even though in a very different position than it was a lap ago. Jack actually being very aggressive with these triple greens. He might try to throw him at the top 2 here, try to get him off the bridge, but the timing is a bit too late now.
Ooh,
and
making some risky maneuvers right near his teammate there to try and avoid Jack's greens.
Yeah, Jack is still dangerously close to Barry and Alpha. He's going to try and snipe them here, and I think he actually... Nope, that was just like... they're still in the driving seat.
Oh, nice
get a really nice snipe on Jack right there to finish out the race. That's another top 2 for IF. What is going on? I thought they were the underdog coming to this, but they look like the top dog now.
Hey, this is the underdog story, so maybe IF is living up to that. Yeah, top 2 consistently every winning race is all they really need.
They've won all races but one, I feel like.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they haven't really been able to I don't know, they're able to hold top 2 pretty well, but other than that, their mid spots are just kind of struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even though they were 4-5 for a while, Durmo and LT, I feel like they were just trying to do the heavy lifting in the mid pack, where they would just slag other players or make calls for backspam. And I don't know if that actually made an impact this race, but it's definitely it goes to show the dynamic of IF, just being very familiar with each other on regs and potentially transferring a bit of that over to CTs. So I don't know, maybe that was their secret weapon all along.
Yeah, perhaps. Also, I was just informed that there is a backward strat on DS Bowser's Castle, but it takes a really long time to do, and that's not always viable.
Each individual platform to get back, and you can do it in 40 seconds, but you're gonna give up a few boxes for the other bagger to pick up in 9. So because by the time you get fully back to the next set, I feel like they can hit 3 or 4 boxes or something. So I'm not sure what the actual decision there was to stay at that set, but it was interesting. The shock wasn't pulled until the very end, so it didn't end up mattering that much, and MI wasn't able to use it effectively at the end of the race, so not a big deal. You know, because now we actually have a reset track, sort of.
Yeah, CTR Blizzard Bluff, not really a popular like war pick as far as I'm aware, but this is a very interesting track.
Yep, and actually, for the first few turns here, this is pretty good for running because, you know, the snow is heavy off-road, so if you touch it, you basically die, and there's not that many places you can overtake someone, so it's really about the second half of the track where, you know, people can really sort of catch up. There's a shroom spot to the left of us right now as we're going through it, and there's another big shroom spot at the end here, so looks like
getting really bumped and forced into a Mega Mushroom. Hoping to squish some MI members in front of him, but it looks like the tricks are going to keep them ahead.
Yeah, and both of the baggers going backwards. Looks like Callum is actually ahead, so he's looking poised to get the first 10th place box here. Alpha getting
blue shell coming out, actually.
Yeah, a very early one at that, and Monty's actually going for the star on Callum. He really managed to start precision. That was funny.
Oh, Triple Shroom's able to make him recover real fast from that red, but now he's being pressured out by Vesfef again with this red, so he's gonna have to force to stay back.
Yeah, MI's been actually able to hold the top two this entire time as we've been speaking. Very brutal position for Monty's getting the Bill in 10th and being.
Yeah, Callum has it at this point.
Looks like he's firing the restart.
Target power potentially onto MI.
Like it was a POW for MI just to get them all in the air instead. It did make Vesfef break away from third, that little bit more.
Yeah, and you know, right now it looks like 3, 4, 5 for IF. So again, not a catastrophic scenario. I don't feel like they've ever been in a position where it looked hopeless for them. So that just goes to show their consistency on the racetrack, I suppose. Dermo pulling TC to finish off the race, but I don't think it'll matter. This was a very calm race. MI top 2, 6, I believe. So yeah,
top
the
2,
races,
6.
Yeah, the races that they do win are not that big. I mean, they had one big race and then they won this race, and this race was not that big. This is like +5 or +7, so it's only gonna make a small dent in the lead that IF has, but still a very even match. You know, there's still room for a major swing of momentum.
Yeah, I mean, that lead is still really small. Like, that just goes to show how close these races have actually been, even though top 2 every single race from both teams seems like a lot. It's actually a lot closer than it looks.
True, and Callum getting 9th is just, you know, it really curbs the amount of points that MI was able to build up that race. So once again, it just goes down to the nitty gritty, you know, to the small numbers, to the fractions. Well, MI got top 2, and I'm really racking my brain here to really like grasp what they're gonna do with this, like how they're gonna play this. They finally got a good starting position, and now they just need to capitalize on it.
Yep. So far, a pretty slow-paced match. Not just because of how long it's taken to get to this point, but like, yeah, like the races haven't really been that big, so there hasn't been like a lot of big like momentum swings or like big, you know, motivating strategies put forth. It's just kind of like a back and forth, so to speak.
Volatility, if you will, kind of stock market term.
Yep, a lot of volatility in these races. However, I feel like IF has been able to convert more often than MI so far, because IF, I feel like, know what they're doing when they're putting their runners up front, and then they're just making sure that the runners can break away. Because they have not gotten a lot of mini shocks. I feel like they've only gotten like 1 or 2 shocks so far. So I feel like IF knows what they're doing, and they're just playing to their strengths right here.
Yeah, the rate of the shocks has kind of gone down as well over time. Crystal Dungeon, a pretty weird pick as well. A pretty weird track to play, especially because of that beginning shortcut. The shock is definitely...
I feel like.
Yeah, it's very old school. The shock is huge here, especially because of that beginning cut, which is basically the main route at this point, let's be honest.
You can tell Barry's never played this track because he doesn't know that he has to re-hop there. It's quite impressive that he actually managed to do the no-stop cut on his first time playing the track.
Backering down the ramp, it doesn't really matter as this shroom is gonna be able to get him into second/first. It looks like it's very close between him and Vesfef, but
He's gonna try to snipe him here. He has to.
Surprise precision out of nowhere. Was he gonna go for this snipe? It looks like he did go for it, but it ended up pulling the shot.
What, is that a niner? I couldn't really see.
Callum starred him ahead of the set, and he got it at ninth. It looked to me like from that.
Okay. So Callum was actually contributing to Monty's getting shock. Callum is not aware of it yet, but Monty's currently possessing shock, and he's gonna.
Oh, what is?
I'm not quite sure what Callum is doing. I feel like he still hasn't caught on to the fact that Monty's is holding the shock.
A bit of mind games, you know? Like, we were just talking about that, you know? He's just sitting there in plain sight with a shock, but, like, he's just, like, in his head so much that he's not even going for him.
Well, if we look at the minimap, we can see that the pack is split in two distinct groups. We have the 4 players up front, which is actually Dermo and Precision. Dermo, unfortunately, getting blued. And I feel like they might try to TS Barry here, but that wouldn't make much sense because Vesfef is right there, And
Dermo out of nowhere.
Landing on top of Barry, setting it back a little bit, but still, still managing to stay in the swing of things.
Yeah, that blue ended up delaying the shock usage by a lot. It looks like because of the swing of the spots there, and now they're just not really sure what to do. Barry kind of struggling to regain his footing after that. He has this bomb. Is it going to land? No, it's not.
That was very close, I have to say. That was pretty close. Barry going for the ambitious shroomless cut.
Yeah, desperate move there to see if he can pull a third place shroom, but he doesn't.
They're still hanging on a 3-4 right here, and actually manages to back Jack. That's actually really good because that allows Alpha to take over 5th, and now they're looking at a potential 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah, that was a really nicely timed shock to get all the spots that they could there. That blue looked like it could have changed a lot, but ended up passing the line at the last moment.
That was very well played for IF. That was damage control played to perfection. I mean, they were there. Barry and Dermo were there the whole time, just holding 1-3 down. And MI, even though they were contending those top spots, we saw early in the race that they just knew that holding the other 2 players in the bottom pack was going to be very crucial for them because, MI picked this track. MI know how to run this track. So if you minimize their opportunities to break away, you're giving yourself a better position to win a race. And that is exactly what happened. Even though MI pulled shock, they weren't able to use it effectively. And, you got to be really happy about that if you're IF because, if you were only getting 3-4 off that, it's very possible you were losing the race by like 10.
Yeah.
But instead it's a very even race. I'm not sure if that's like -3 or something.
I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, that was another just top 2, bottom 2 race. We've seen a lot of those already. I'm not really sure why. I mean, like those races are just kind of playing out all similar to each other. I don't know, maybe it's hard to say. Like, it's still really, really close. It's only a 14-point differential now. MI won that GP by just a little bit, and suddenly it's super even.
Yeah. Very, very close. It's going to go right down to the wire here. Actually, looking at the scoreboard, it looks like IF is only up 14, I believe.
Yeah, 14 points. I believe after GP1 it was an 18-point difference, so only a +4 GP it looks like.
Wow. They've been hanging on. They've been hanging on. If nothing else, they were able to keep it very close and made IF sweat made MI sweat in multiple races,
Yep, and let's see if MI is able to just push it across the finish line, metaphorically speaking, as DKR Star City coming out from them, since they are starting in all the odd spots to take advantage of starting in first. DKR Star City, not really a catch-up track. It is very heavy front-run oriented, a lot of tight corridors, a lot of tight turns, 90-degree angles. It's really hard to catch up here.
Also a lot of boost panels and trickable surfaces, which, if we saw a Jack or a Vesfef POV, I'm sure you would see like BKT lines showcasing just how abusable this track is in terms of trick spam and stuff. But we're going to be watching Barry just for 3 more races, I believe, and then we should have another IF POV, I think.
Yeah, pulling a golden. Not yeah, choosing to just use it right away. Ooh, running into a green though, that was pretty unlucky as he was just trying to go tighter than everything and ended up not working out. Ooh, just dodging another green.
Dynamic start to the race. It's been 30 seconds and the spots have just shuffled around so much.
Yeah, Money's holding Bill. I don't know if you're able to get out of bounds really easily on this track, but yeah, Barry getting back on there, and now MI is occupying, looks like 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, unfortunately I'm not familiar with how you bag this track. It looks like that's Callum in 10th, so he has a bigger likelihood of pulling a shock here. Barry really just wants to pass this TC, and there's actually a blue coming for Alpha, so MI looking at a very potential top 3. However, Callum did pull the shock, and that really that canceled the blue and also dodged LT. So this is really good for them. Really good call. And now Callum being this far back in 10th is going to enable him to pull another shock. So just a really good call for IF here.
Yeah, pretty much just like mitigating the potential damage of like giving MI all the top spots. That TC was not really passable because of just the situation he was in.
However, behind him, that was like 3 fibs at the very end. Yeah. Barry looking good with this star in 6th for now. Vesfef kind of alternating between 5th and 6th place. I'm not sure what's happening, but for now, top 2 for IF. This is really close though. If MI backs any of these players, you know, they're just not catching up unless there's a shock. Jack going into Omega, however, it looks like MI doesn't have the shock, and it looks like instead it's IF with the shock. Barry,
there it is.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
He really wants to try and start Precision here.
Oh, but Precision actually picking up a ground star and dodging the blue. Oh, Barry got caught in the blue! What was that play? That was amazing!
That was huge. That was so big brain.
I'm not even sure if that was intentional. I mean, he was going slow because he was small, and the blue just slowed down just enough for Barry to get caught in it.
Yeah, that was a very weird series of events, you know, because Monty was trying to drop a star for Precision, who was first, and then the blue came, and that kind of weirdly coincided with the plans. It was so, I couldn't keep up with it. It was just too much for me to, I think I need an analyst on set to explain what happened, because we need a frame by frame. Well, 2-3-6 for IF, actually still not catastrophic for them. That was, you know, even though they were top 2 at the very end, MI, even after the blue came and that all that stuff happened, IF was just able to salvage 2-3 almost.
Yeah,
I don't want to say salvage because like they didn't really salvage it. They were like, because they had the shock control.
Yeah, exactly.
It was their shock call, so I don't really.
It was all ruined by that last-minute play by Precision.
Yeah.
But yeah, MI another winning race, but still not enough to push them into the lead. IF still hanging on. I feel like neither team feels like they're really winning, so to speak, because of these like really strange race results.
Yeah, I mean we're 2 races away from this first match closing out, and I still don't know like which of these teams is going to win this.
Yeah, MI winning the last few races in a row, so it looks like it might be them. Like they have the momentum in their court, but Peach Circuit going to put a stop sign right on that, as this item-based course will prevent them from doing any front running.
Oh man, and I feel like the bagging advantage, well I don't want to say advantage, but the bagging edge that MI have is going to be mitigated somewhat by this track being very RT-like. I mean, this track is fully backwards, and it's also a circuit track, so, you know, these runners are going to be very comfortable with this, and they're not going to have too many problems keeping up with MI, and also the baggers are just going to... It's going to be second nature for them bagging this one, I feel like.
But IF getting taken out pretty early, forcing Barry to take back first with this shroom. Maybe he wanted to hold it for later, but now he's just tasked with keeping MI back and just holding down this first place.
Yeah, he really doesn't want to get drafted here. He wants to potentially back on the straight where it's not expected. Jack actually intercepting that green, which is really good. Barry had the right idea, but
Vesfef getting into first there.
Yeah, 1-3 for MI here, and it looks like they're broken.
Tough banana.
Yeah. Looks like that's Monty's intent, so he's looking in. He's looking poised to get this shock here. Monty's actually in. What is that? 9th? I'm not really good at reading the map.
Golden kind of struggling to pull the shock right now. But yeah, these triple reds from Jack, he just decides to get rid of them, but it was really threatening Barry from even contesting second place there. And now we're just kind of
lap here, and it's really hinging on the shock to bring IF back into those top spots and win the race here. Because if they don't win this race, it's going to be dead even going into the last one.
Yeah, a shock here could be huge, but shock situation is looking very strange right now as IF starting to catch up with Mushrooms a little bit. Monies doesn't look like he has it, so it's all on IF to maybe pull out a last-second shock here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of the dodges are being held. It looks like Dermo up front and also Alpha were dodging. It looks like just Alpha.
Yeah,
it looks like just Alpha.
Yeah, IF able to get 5, 6, 7, and I believe it was second. Vespef still holding down first there. Not a great race for them, despite having the shock. Maybe they went super late.
2, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, that's got to be losing by. I don't even know at this point. That was just the race MI needed coming in at the right time. It really evens things out going into the last race and just basically resetting the lead that IF has been building up over the course of this match.
Yep, so MI with that race will be able to take the lead, and now the pressure's on.
I really wasn't able to tell what's going on that race because it's a track we don't see very often, right? And obviously we didn't have too many eyes in the back, and it looked like Monies was ahead of Callum on the minimap, but then when we switched to his POV, it was like he was in 9th, and all sorts of moving parts just confusing me all at once, so I apologize for the miscall there, but yeah.
Alright, you are now down by 3. What do you pick?
I feel like they're gonna pick some troll track, like Baby Park or something. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did go for that.
Hovering over some retro tracks, Yoshi Circuit is the play.
Yoshi Circuit, that's... Oh my god. Can we get a POC temp in the chat for Yoshi Circuit? It's a really good track. I hope he played this, because I don't want to... Oh, maybe we're going to Honeybee Hideout instead?
Yeah, yep. Honeybee Hideout. This is absolutely insane for MI. You have the top spots, you're able to just hold them down from the beginning.
You have pretty much everything except second, so if you're first place, just keep second grounded and trails them out early, then you're looking at top 3 for a good while, like 30-60 seconds at least.
Let's see if IF is able to adapt to this track pick. It's really hard to catch up here because there's a lot of tech and a lot of boosting and whatnot. Triple shrooms right away from Barry. Looks like, is he going to use them right away or no?
Oh, he could potentially shroom off a few of these MI players. Looks like Vespef getting redded out of first. Nope, that looks like it's just going to break on nothing.
Not being very conservative with these mushrooms. Precision ended up going down there to B's, and IF 234. Oh, another IF player getting taken out.
Potentially, that was the green thrown by, I believe, Precision. So, who knows if it was a spam green or if it was a tactical snipe by Precision. It looks like we're going to be taking a look at how the bagging strat is on this one. I wasn't too familiar with it before.
Looks like a, bonk into wall to get up a high ledge sort of thing.
Yeah, very standard stuff for CTs looks like, and that's IF occupying 2-3 right now. 2-3.
Yeah, 2-3-4 it looks like. Vespef way in the front though, in first. Unless there's a blue shell, it's pretty obvious that he has this race in the bag. Oh, that target pow was brutal!
Yeah, that was a brutal target pow on Barry. That was the perfect distance between not knowing if you should slow down and not knowing if you're going to make it over. So
yeah, that's a tough situation to be in. It kind of looked like he was going to make it, but nope. Like maybe if he held back, I'm not sure. Goldening all the way up now just to try to get back into the mix of it. The pack is really spread out amongst the top spots though. That's not giving up first yet.
We're seeing again this divide between the top 4 and the bottom 4. It's kind of closing up now as these players are trimming up. Alpha falling off unfortunately, so that's going to weaken the front presence of IF here. It's just Dermo for the time being, and it looks like he's actually gotten backspam or redded, and it's on to Barry to salvage this situation and bring them back to the front.
Yeah, but now Precision has all the time in the world to take Barry out here. But Triple Green's able to help a little bit. The throws are a little late, so now he's just kind of more vulnerable as a result.
Man, I was holding my breath when I saw Alpha pulling a TC in the review mirror, but it looks like he was able to pull a Mega or something.
Oh,
so, you know.
I'm exactly sure. Didn't get to see, but
neutralizing the threat of that TC, as it looks like, I don't know what MI did, but, you know, Barry's actually been able to catch up to them a bit. And looks like Shock is going to come in. I'm not sure who it's for, but
no,
looks
that's
like
an IF Shock.
the floor and someone's coming up in a build that's going to be
Alpha ended up pulling the villain 8th, and suddenly IF is in contention to win as Vespa finally loses first after
MI
all
has to be
time.
sweating so hard. I can just see this droplets of sweat dripping on their face as Precision gets taken out of first, but Vespa close behind.
Yep, very able to break
here.
Second now. Wow, this race turned around so fast.
I think this is going to be a top 2 for IF, provided there is no blue
red shell. No, it's going to take him out, and Vespa getting TC'd. What is going on this spot?
To replace him in second place, and it looks like it's going to be...
Oh, last second Shock, and 2 people dodged from either team. Oh my god, what happened there?
Things are happening at lightning speed. I can't decipher what's going on. We have to go action by action. What? Oh, I'm pretty sure IF got 1-3 there because looking at the minimap, I saw LT crossing and Dermo being close behind, so it's going to be 1-3 for IF, I predict. However, one thing to note is that when Barry got redded, Dermo was right there behind him, and also Alpha was close by, so I'm pretty sure at least 3 members of IF. That's top 2 for it. IF wins match 1. I can't believe it.
There's one. Isn't there one more race?
Oh, there is there?
There is one more race. There's one more race.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
They're looking really good to take this first match. I can't. That was so.
One of the first big races from IF in a long time.
Yeah,
and
I was running the show for the entire race, just being top 2, and they were like slowing down or something. Barry was able to like make up so much distance on them, and then the Shock came in. It was just like all of IF just getting in the front and just.
Everyone just ended up dying and dodging. It's like, how do you even like hold down your spots after that?
This match is so hectic. I can't believe this.
But yeah, now up, looks like 12-ish points. I don't know if that's correct, but they're up by like 10-ish, and they're going with TikTok clock as they are in top 2-4, and that's a really good track for top 2-4. Actually, you know, you can pull some draft stuff, and there's no shortcuts there either. But the complete opposite, Cotton Plant Forest, the track riddled with grass shortcuts.
Yeah, the antithesis. If we go to Cotton Plant Forest, this is going to be one hell of an exciting race, but unfortunately, we're seeing TikTok clock, which is not too much of a downgrade, but significantly less catch-up potential on this track, unless you have Shock.
Yeah, exactly, and the shock definitely coming into play a lot more in these last few races. So, race 12, here we go. IF starting in the top spots. Barry trying to look for a dodge or maybe the bullet, but no, ends up pulling triple reds. Actually, a really good item.
Yeah, it would have been really nice for him to stop and wait for the villain 8th. However, this triple reds, he can't be too upset about that. That's actually really good for him because he just has a shooting gallery on these MI players, but he actually shoots the back the reds, which is interesting.
Yeah, from shooting gallery to a very long boost, as he's going to be able to get into maybe second here. Ooh, going around the pack.
No, that was a very unlucky.
Yeah, that clock hand
he came to the turn with.
That clock hand just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he ended up just diving off as a result. It was a tough play to make. Do you like take the hit there, or do you try to make a play?
Very blue, so that's really good because LT's running away with it in first right now. So, if they just keep this race, you know, fairly neutral, you know, IF can take this match like pretty easily, I would say. Because right now, I'm not too sure what the Shock situation is, but it looks like Moniz is still going back, and I'm not sure if he's had the Shock yet. He just fell off, so yeah, I don't know. It's gonna come down to lap 3 again.
Yeah, but IF in 5, 6, 7 here, losing the blue actually, so finally able to pull a good item to maybe catch up. Dermo using Omega, but it's actually going to dodge him. Wow, I wasn't really expecting that Shock to come in, but yeah, suddenly IF is in a much better position to win this race.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting the Shock to come because when I saw Moniz falling off, I was very certain that...
Oh no! That bomb was
that's actually okay because IF is up front right now. As you can see, 5, 6, 7 for MI. There's no way they can come back at this point. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to call it too early, like I did last time, but I'm pretty sure this is just IF at this point. This is IF taking match 1.
Yep, looks like it. MI 567. Yep, looks like Infinite taking match 1.
Man, I thought they were going to be the underdog. I was... Oh, man. This is so good to see. This is such a refreshing change of pace, Like, MI almost at points last week, they were just completely, like, walking over PRS. And even though PRS was able to keep it close for some of the match, they were able to just, MI was just able to run away with, like, 50-point leads at the end of it, so... This is a complete, like, turnaround. This is an antithesis of what we saw last week, and just... IF taking match 1 is just a sign of really good things to come in the second match, potentially winning the whole thing.
Yep, only one more match to go if you're IF, but MI's got a big hill to climb suddenly. You have to win 2 in a row.
Yeah, and yeah, so very exciting first match. IF winning it by like something like 20 points, 20 odd points, something like that. Not too important. The important part is that IF actually won the first match, and I wonder how that's going to project onto the second match. And actually, I have an analyst here with me. His name is Articuno. Please say hi, Articuno.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so walk me through that match and tell me a bit of your thoughts on that.
Alright, well, first I'll just start off with some little stats throughout the match. So, Maximum won the track count by 7-5, so still pretty even. Shot count was 7-7 throughout the entire match, where Callum pulled through GP3 with 5 shocks.
Clutch!
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. I think IF played really well as a unit. They all kept going, backing tight, backing wide out of each other. I think a player that really stood out for them that match was Alpha. I was watching his POV throughout the war alongside with Berries, and Alpha constantly trailed the other team, forced them into positions that either made the players fall off or hit the wall, or either lost a very good item. Like on Crystal Dungeon, Alpha 1v3'd 3 of MI's players in the back, where he forced a Mega out of Jack, and then he passed a TC to Jose the next set, causing Jose to drop an item onto MI's third player, which got hit. So that was a huge play from them. I think a standout player from Maximum that war ended up being Precision. He was constantly in the front for most of the races. There was a couple tracks, like on Honeybee Hideout, he greened Alpha off the track out of second right away at the start. He also greened Alpha out of third on Mansion of Madness for them to start top 3 after first set. And then obviously you guys saw the play on DKR Star City with the blue and the star. That was
yeah, that was crazy. I couldn't believe that.
Sending Barry from first to, I believe he got 6th that race.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started out like it was really like a blueless war. There wasn't really many blues until GP3. Either teams were holding them, or they just weren't happening. As well as shocks. Most of the shocks that were pulled, they didn't use them until either top 3 or top 4 has already passed the line, where it only changed the points by like 5 or 6 throughout the races. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think Infinite just kept on outpacing Maximum for I'd say for the first 2 GPs, and then GP3, you saw a lot of Precision and Vezfest up at the top 2. But Callum clutched it out with pulling the shocks and just tearing MI's top presence with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's the common thread we've seen throughout this match, is IF's teamwork being the catalyst that enabled this match 1 victory to be possible. They were never quite running laps around MI in that team play sense, but they were definitely one step ahead, and that ended up mattering a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, so I want to ask you one more question. So, do you think Emma is able to recover from this? What do you think should be the play that Emma is going to think about to bring them back into match 2?
I think MI just needs to keep pressuring Infinite up at the front. Considering the big standing point from GP3 was just Callum getting shocks, and it's Mario Kart, so like you're not guaranteed getting shocks. And the races where MI just stood in the front, like Blizzard Bluff, that one in particular, they just ran in top 2 without any trouble after IF got blued out, started lap 2. If they can just continue staying in the front, then they should be able to see good results in the near future.
Yeah, so definitely the main takeaway for MI there is being more aggressive, being more proactive, being more pressuring on those top spots, as we've seen Precision doing that match. And I think my personal highlight player for MI is definitely also Precision, because, you know, Vastfef being uncharacteristically just absent. I couldn't feel his presence in the match, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, he was up there for some of the races, but then not really. It feels like they've just been focusing more on sheer running power. And I mean, that's definitely worked for them on some tracks, like you know, GBA Lakeside Park. They've definitely stolen the show there. But, you know, Jack and Precision, the only two players who have just been kind of a nuisance to IF. So, you know, IF getting off easy match 1, but will they meet their match? Will they meet their opponent in a better shape match 2?